If you currently don't have Russian honeybees, let me help give you some information to help you make a decision as to whether or not you want to get involved with Russian honeybees. Here is a queen from Foley's Russian bees. About the only safe Russian bee you can handle is a dead one. This colony has got one of my 2016 grafted queens. See how I can put my hand in here? See that? I can put my hand in there and they are not attacking me. You can't do that with a Russian colony. So if you enjoy working with bees without having to put on a bunch of gear, you don't want Russian bees. Let me see if I can find her. They were laying up until the end of December when it got really cold. They're up in the walls of my bee room, so they do get cold enough to know that it's cold out, and they have access to the outside. And I don't see all the brood I saw last month is gone. Right there she is. You can see the back of her. She's a 2016 grafted queen from my bees. And I've got more than one, so it's a whole lot better than buying queens from some liar that makes claims that aren't true. For one thing, I've always tell everybody, when you're buying queens from somebody and they ship them to you, on the box it says air vents, do not block. And if they're lazy and they don't put the workers in the cages with the queens, instead they pack the workers in the box, and when they get hot, they'll cover the screens, and essentially they've blocked the air vents. Now, Jason Foley's an ignorant man. I tried explaining to him he needs to do something different because what he's doing is killing the queens. Because my second order had 26 queens. 6 of them never made it out of the cage, and the rest all died within the following days. So a month later, basically had nothing out of that order. And I got interested in doing some research because somebody contacted me off of YouTube saying that Jason Foley's bees are not Russian honeybees. Jason Foley says on his website that he is trying to become a member of the Russian Honeybee Breeders Association. And I contacted the president of the Russian Honeybee Breeders Association, and he acknowledged that Jason Foley is working on becoming a member. So in order to work on becoming a member, you're going to buy Russian queens from the RHBA. And because Foley is a customer of the RHBA, president of the RHBA did not have anything negative to say about Jason Foley. So I asked myself, okay, what is a Russian honeybee? A Russian honeybee, in this 1975 copy of The Hive and the Honeybee, you will not find the name Russian honeybee. So, on Jason Foley's website, he says Russian honeybees are a mix of the European honeybees. So that made me wonder, well, how far back do you have to go to see where the European bees were introduced into Asia? And on the internet, I saw a mention of European honeybees being introduced into Japan in 1876. And in this book right here, it mentions Between 1949 and 1959, China imported 200,000 plus colonies of European honeybees. So the Russian honeybees you are buying from people right now are basically a mix of European honeybees. The Russian honeybee was brought over to the United States in 1994 from a group of people in the United States that decided to give them the name Russian honeybee and start their own association. And they got them over at Primorsky, Korea, and that's near Korea, China, and Japan. About the same area where the mites come from. And then 1980, 1981, that was figured they were a subspecies, and they called them Varroa destructor. So the mites have been over there in Asia longer than the European honeybees. And the European honeybees have been there for 150 years. And so I got to wondering, when did they start having trouble with mites over there in Asia? So I contacted a Michigan State University professor, Hong, who's in the honeybee department. And of course, he is Chinese, and he said 1980s is when China started having trouble with mites. So if the mites have been there longer than the European honeybees, and the European honeybees that became Russian honeybees evolved to deal with the mites, you would think that the European honeybees here in the United States will eventually learn how to deal with the mites. Or is this mite that we have now a creation of some use of man's chemicals and we're no longer able to control it? So basically, I wouldn't waste your money with Russian honeybees, because from my experience over the last few months is with the mites, they're no good. They're just as bad as all the other bees I've ever had. Now this is here a list I made up, the good points and bad points of Russian honeybees. I couldn't come up with anything good to say. I come up with a list of bad things. Bad. They're not very good with mites. They're not any better than any other honeybee, and their colony size is small. So if you have mites, they're gonna lose their size of the colony rather quickly, and if they're out in the cold, they will die. And they are very aggressive. As you can see, I can wave my hand over this colony that I have here, and they're not attacking me. You can't do that with the Russian bees that I got from Jason Foley. So, like I said, they're aggressive. They're not fun to work with. Hive arrangement. You know, if you do it two deeps and a medium on top, and you want to take that medium off and get some honey, you can't do it, because the Russian bees, they'll put their honey down in the bottom, they'll put it up on the second deep, and there won't be any honey in the medium. So this is not good for commercial honey production. And then the cost and the shipping. You know, I've ordered 46 queens from Jason Foley. That's almost $1,500. And basically I end up with nothing. I got maybe one colony that became really large. And then also, the other thing I want to mention is the honest information on the internet. Especially if you go to Foley'sRussianBees.com and you read all that and you think, oh great, it's a great honeybee. It's all hype, all a bunch of lies. He is an ignorant liar. Don't waste your money buying any bees from Foley's Russian Bees. So again, if you want some good bees, just buy some packages. And I know a lot of the packages are going to have old queens, but buy several packages and start doing your own breeding. You know, if you have bees that die, well, then they weren't good bees. And if you have some survive the following year, graft from those queens, and after a few years, you're going to end up with a quality bee. If you're buying packages and queens year after year after year, you know, you got to understand, they have orders to fill. You're not going to get the best honeybee. But if you do your own breeding and grafting, you're going to end up with a quality honeybee. These bees here I pulled out of a colony last August and started anew. And during the summer, last summer, they outperformed any package that I got last year and the Russian queens that I bought. So don't waste your money buying bees. If you don't have bees and you don't need to buy bees, go ahead and buy them, but start doing your own grafting. Okay? I'm just trying to help you out. Thank you.